All right, graphing by solving by substituting. Solving systems by substitution. Solving systems by substitution. It's a lot of alliteration. All right, so today, if you aren't substituting, you're doing it wrong. Got it? It's called solving by substituting. You should be substituting. So let's start by defining substitute. In algebra, it means replacement, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, even in real life, like if I have a substitute, that's someone who's replacing me, correct?
Yeah.
So a substitute in algebra is to replace a variable. We're going to replace a variable with a value. Now, I'm going to say value. I'm not going to say number because it's algebra. And sometimes, instead of numbers, we have to deal with variables, right? Letters. So let's talk easy and get progressively more challenging. If I gave you this problem, 3x plus 7, 3x plus 7, if I said your problem is 3x plus 7, that expression, and then I said, hey, but guess what? X equals 4. Could you substitute?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we replace the variable x with the value of 4. 3 times 4 plus 7. Now, we would go even further because no one out there would say, hey, you guys, just so you know, the popcorn you ordered from me, it's actually 3x plus 7 where x equals $4. Right? No one's going to say that. No one, in fact, is going to say, oh, I'll make it a little easier. It's 3 times 4 plus $7. Right? They're going to simplify always. We do not speak in math problems if we don't have to. We're going to say it's 19. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 7 makes 19. Yes?
Yeah.
Always simplify unless you're told don't simplify. And those situations are few and far between.
Imagine trying to do that over the phone.
Right? All right, so let's try a little bit harder. If I give you the algebraic expression 3 minus 6y, but I say, hey, you guys, y equals x plus 12. Can you still substitute?
Yeah.
Instead of y, what are you going to put? Because y is equal to x plus 12. They're the same thing. Whatever's on the left side of an equal sign is the exact same value as the right side. That's what an equal sign means. They're the same. So I can rewrite it 3 minus 6, and then instead of y, put x plus 12. Because they are the same. In this problem, y and x plus 12 are equivalent. I can replace one with the other. Now, I'm going to use algebra. I'm going to simplify this. To get 3, what's negative 6 times x? And negative 6 times 12 is negative 72. Is that my answer?
No.
I'm going to continue to simplify, combine like terms. I'm going to write my variable first, negative 6x, and 3 minus 72 is negative 69. In my answer, sometimes we've had to get used to this. Sometimes your answer is an algebraic expression. Sometimes it's still a math problem, but that's as much as you can do. Other times, you can do more.
If it said equals something.
If it said equals, you could keep going and you could find a solution. I will tell you the most common error that people make is they forget. When substituting, use parentheses. When you substitute, you should substitute using parentheses. And I understand middle schoolers like to get things done fast, and they think, I'll save time by not writing the parentheses. Doesn't save you that much time. And you are getting so good at this type of stuff that you start to almost do things on autopilot. Instead of thinking, you just start going. And what happens is someone will look at this and say, oh, that's 34, if they did not use parentheses, instead of 3 times 4. All right, are you ready? There are 2 types of problems you will encounter today. 2 types. We're going to make a flow chart to show how to solve these problems today. The first thing you do, step number 1, is to determine, D-E-T-E-R. Sometimes it's hard to spell and talk. Which problem type? You have to determine which problem type it is. There are 2. Step number 1 does not involve math. It involves looking and making a decision. There are 2 types of problems. The first type is both problems are y equals. Both problems are going to be written in the form y equals, and then the rest. What is that form, y equals? What's that called? Slope-intercept form. Both are in slope-intercept form. That's type 1. Type 2. 1 is written y equals, or one of them is slope-intercept form. The other one is something else. Because remember, systems means there's 2 problems, or maybe 3. Only 2 today. So there are 2 types of problems. Both of them are y equals, or only one of them is y equals. That's step 1. Can you determine which one is which? Easy? Hopefully. All right. I'm going to split this in the middle. And we're going to work on this guy first. Ready? Okay. What color do I want to do? Sure. Y equals 3x plus 4. And y equals 2x minus 8. Do you agree that both of those problems are written y equals? And that's step 1. Step 2. Substitute. Not surprisingly, we're going to substitute because this lesson is called Solving by Substitution. So, we're going to substitute. And here's what this means. I'll get a little more specific. You are going to set the equations equal to each other. Now, I'm going to explain that. Just write it down. And get ready. Again, this is called solving by substitution. If you're not substituting, you're doing it wrong. We're going to substitute. Step 1, which type of problem? Determine the problem type. Step 2, if it's both y equals, we're going to substitute. And what that means is to set the equations equal to each other. Now I want you to follow along. I want you to look at this because it's really visual. So everybody look up front. Look at what I'm pointing at. The first equation says y equals 3x plus 4. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. That means that y is equal to 3x plus 4. Y and 3x plus 4 are the same thing. Instead of the variable y, I could write down 3x plus 4, and they mean the same thing. Instead of y, what could you substitute? I could substitute 3x plus 4. So if there was another y somewhere, I could erase the y, and I could write 3x plus 4, because y and 3x plus 4 are the same. So instead of the variable y, I'm going to put 3x plus 4. Instead of the variable y, I'm going to write 3x plus 4 equals 2x minus 8. I'm going to substitute. Instead of the variable y, I can put 3x plus 4 because that first problem tells me y and 3x plus 4 are the same. They're equal. So if I saw another y out there, I could cover it up. I could erase it. And instead of the variable y, I could put 3x plus 4 because 3x plus 4 and y are the same. Ladies and gentlemen, after you substitute, set them equal to each other, what could you do to this? Simplify and solve, right? Solve for the variable. This is why we've been doing so many problems, so many homework assignments, so many bell work problems with multi-step equations. Because here is where it all comes back. What do you do? Combine like terms. I have to move the variables from one side to the other. I have to get them together. Yes? Yeah. I'm going to move minus 2x because I like to move the smaller one. But it doesn't really matter what you do. What's 3x minus 2x? 1x. Could you write just regular old x? Because x and 1x are the same. Doesn't matter. Plus 4 equals negative 8. Now what do you do? Minus 4. One x equals negative 12. Do you agree? All right, now so let's think about this. I have an x answer, but I'm not done because my answer to a system is an ordered pair. Right? An x comma y. And I have an x. So what I do now is I re-substitute. You're going to substitute the value from step 3. I don't know why I put the number sign for the word the. Substitute the value from number 3 into one of the original problems. So I got x equals negative 12 for number 3. Step 4 tells me I'm going to take that value, x equals negative 12, and I'm going to put that into one of the original problems. Do you think it matters which one?
No,
7th graders, will you guys do the top problem? 8th graders, will you do the bottom problem? Let's see who's right. Are they? 7th graders, substitute into the top problem, y equals 3x plus 4. 8th graders, substitute into the bottom problem, y equals 2x minus 8. Y equals 7th graders should have y equals 3 times negative 12 plus 4. Do you agree? What is 3 times negative 12 plus 4? Y equals negative 32. 8th graders, what did you get when you did it? Negative 32. They're going to equal the same thing. I'm still not quite done because my answer must be an ordered pair. Negative 12, because that's my x value, comma, negative 32. And here's what you may be thinking yourself. You may be thinking, wait, Mrs. Long, stop. You made this way harder than it should have been. Because if I look at these two problems, I can graph them. Do you agree?
Yes.
You could do 4 up 4 and then do a slope of up 3 over 1. And you could graph negative 8 and up 2 over 1. It would take forever. Because you'd start graphing them, and when you're going the positive slope, they're never going to intersect. They don't get closer together. In fact, they get further apart. So then you'd think, okay, wait a second. I'll just go backwards, right? Instead of going up 3 over 1, I'll go down 3 backward 1. But you guys, they're not going to intersect until negative 12, negative 32. Meaning your graph would have to be so big and so accurate that you would have to go backwards 12 and down 32 spots until you find where they intersect. That's a huge graph. It's not, it doesn't feel like it right now, but this is faster than creating that graph. All right, so that's one type of problem. Type 2, where there's only one that is y equals. Here we go. Y equals x minus 4. Again, I get it. You're sitting there right now rolling your eyes at me. Mrs. Long, that is so easy to graph. You'd go down 4 and then up 1 over 1, right? It's a really simple graph. But we're not going to graph because your other equation looks like this. It's in standard form. Now, I get it. Again, there might be some of you out there who are like, that's not a big deal. You just take standard form and you can convert it to slope-intercept form. But this problem, if you converted it to slope-intercept form, you'd have decimals all over the place. So we cannot graph it. We're going to have to substitute. Ladies and gentlemen, determine which problem type. This is a one problem is y equals type. Guess what we do? We're going to substitute. Oh, yes. Yes. Sorry, she said Aisley, but in my mind I heard Aisri. And then the last name didn't match with Aisri's last name, and I got really confused. Bye, see you later. All right, we're going to substitute. And here are the directions for substituting. You're going to substitute the y equals into the other problem. You're not going to set them equal to each other because see how this one said y equals, the y is alone? And in this one, it's 11 is alone, and those aren't the same. So we can't set them equal to each other. But what I can do is instead of the variable y, what could I replace it with? No. X minus 4. Because y is equal to the same as x minus 4. Do you agree? Y is equal to x minus 4. So I'm going to substitute the y equals into the other problem. So y equals x minus 4 goes into this problem, meaning 5x plus 4, but instead of the variable y, what can I put? X minus 4 equals 11. And after you substitute, what can you do? Solve for the variable. So I have 5x plus 4 parentheses x minus 4 equals 11. What do I do first? Multi-step problem. Get rid of the parentheses, so distribute, right? 5x, what's 4 times x? Plus 4x. What's 4 times negative 4? Minus 16 equals 11. Am I done yet?
No.
Now what? 5x plus 4x is minus 16 equals 11. Am I done yet?
No.
Add 16. Am I done yet? What does x equal? What's 27 divided by 9?
3.
Am I done?
Almost.
Kind of.
Number 4.
I know what x equals.
And you gotta go back and substitute.
I have to re-substitute. I have to substitute the value from negative 3 into one of the original problems. And I'm going to give you a hint right here and right now. Does it matter which one you pick?
No.
No, it doesn't. But one of them is so much faster than the other.
I think the light equals as fast as possible.
The slope intercept is going to be fast. If you choose the standard form, and sometimes you have to choose the standard form, you'll get the right answer. It just turns into a two-step problem. Whereas if you choose the slope intercept, the y equals, it's a one-step problem. Y equals x minus 4. You're going to do y equals 3 minus 4. What is y equals 3 minus 4? What does y equal? Negative 1. Am I done?
No.
Ooh, so close. I need to write it as an ordered pair. What's my final answer? 3, comma. Oops, you can't see that. Negative 1.